In the 1930s, during the bleakest years of the Great Depression, America witnessed an unprecedented number of young adults forced to move back into their childhood bedrooms just to survive. Fast forward nearly a century to the most technologically advanced and productive era in human history. Today, a staggering 45% of adults aged 18 to 29 are living at home with their parents. We have officially matched the Great Depression. The math isn't mathing. Yet, if you turn on the television, the mainstream narrative continues to ask if your generation is simply lacking a strong work ethic. Welcome to the era of phantom wealth. Today, we are launching an investigative look into the structural housing trap that is destroying Gen Z's economic future. We will examine the real data behind the cost of living, uncover how 1970s zoning laws legally engineered a national housing shortage, and explore why viral trends like loud budgeting are not just social media fads, but a sophisticated defense strategy against an economy designed to extract your remaining capital. The mainstream narrative insists that inflation is cooling and the economy is stabilizing, but those headline inflation figures mask a brutal reality for young adults. When you strip away volatile categories and look directly at the cost of shelter, a different picture emerges. Between the spring of 2020 and today, the typical U.S. apartment rent skyrocketed by nearly 29% at the exact same time. Median household income grew at a significantly slower pace, meaning real wages essentially stagnated. You are not failing at personal finance. You are participating in an economy where the cost of basic shelter has entirely decoupled from local incomes. We are looking at a system where a record 22.6 million renter households are officially classified as cost-burdened. More than 12 million of those are severely burdened, handing over more than half of their take-home pay to landlords every single month. This isn't a temporary inflationary spike that will simply correct itself. It is a permanent resetting of the affordability baseline. When your income is systematically drained by rent, accumulating the capital required for a 20% down payment on a home becomes a mathematical impossibility. To understand how Generation Z is reacting to this immense pressure, we have to look through the lens of social narrative theory. This theory suggests that our economic decisions and confidence are heavily driven by the collective stories our society shares. For decades, the dominant social narrative was the American dream. Work hard, save your money, and buy a house in your 20s. But today, the median age of a first-time homebuyer has hit a record high of 38 years old. That traditional narrative has completely collapsed. In its place, a fascinating new behavioral phenomenon has emerged: loud budgeting. Instead of quietly feeling inadequate or trying to project an illusion of wealth, millions of Gen Z individuals are taking to platforms like TikTok to loudly and transparently declare their financial boundaries. They are openly refusing to spend money on expensive dinners, fast fashion, or overpriced events, and they are doing it without shame. This is not just a viral internet trend. It is a profound rejection of the consumerist pressure tactics used by previous generations. Loud budgeting is a collective, community-driven defense mechanism. It builds solidarity and financial literacy in a generation that realizes they cannot spend their way to happiness, in an economy that offers them no long-term equity. But how exactly did shelter become so incredibly scarce? The root of this affordability crisis does not begin with recent supply chain bottlenecks. It traces back directly to the 1970s. During the rise of the environmental movement, well-intentioned laws, such as the California Environmental Quality Act, were passed to protect natural resources. However, existing homeowners who had already secured their properties at low prices quickly learned to weaponize these regulations. They transformed environmental impact reviews into a procedural veto. Local planning commissions and neighborhood groups began blocking almost all new high-density or affordable housing developments, birthing the modern NIMBY movement, not in my backyard. By legally restricting the supply of new homes, These incumbent homeowners artificially inflated the value of their own properties. It was a brilliant, albeit devastating, strategy to build personal wealth at the expense of future generations. Today, because of these exclusionary zoning laws and regulatory barriers, the United States is missing roughly 8 million affordable rental homes. The ladder of upward economic mobility wasn't just pulled up, it was zoned out of existence. The conclusion here is not to simply accept your fate, take a deep breath, and be kind to yourself. Acceptance does not build houses, and it does not change policy. The reality is that Generation Z is bearing the brunt of a massive structural failure. We are witnessing an intergenerational wealth transfer that flows in the wrong direction, extracting capital from young, cost-burdened renters and delivering it to older, established asset holders. Solving this crisis requires far more than personal budgeting apps or side hustles. It demands aggressive structural reform. It requires dismantling exclusionary zoning laws, penalizing municipalities that refuse to build, and implementing a generational equity lens in all future macroeconomic policymaking. Housing must be treated as fundamental infrastructure, not exclusively as a speculative asset class protected by local monopolies. Until the structural supply deficit is addressed, and the 45% of young adults living in their childhood bedrooms are not a symptom of a lazy generation. They are the most visible, glaring metric of a profoundly broken system. What specific local zoning laws or housing policies in your city are actively preventing affordable development? Let me know in the comments below.